The Nintendo Switch isn't unlike a NASA spacecraft in that nearly every part of it has been specially designed to pull double or even triple duty. Its modular design means that it can function as a traditional home console, a portable system, and a standalone tablet with paired controllers. Getting a piece of hardware to do that much would be an engineering miracle, and Nintendo has come close in some regards, but has fallen well short in others. Keep in mind that this review is still tentative, as we haven't yet had the opportunity to test the Switch's online capabilities, the eShop store, or a wide variety of games that use the individual Joy-Cons as standalone controllers. The first thing that struck me about the Switch is the overall quality of its look and feel. The handsome matte finish of the two included Joy-Cons feels almost silken, begging to be touched. The console itself is almost alarmingly small and thin by home console standards, but its mostly metal and glass construction gives it a sturdy, substantial heft. Even small details like the way the Joy-Cons snap into place on the Joy-Con grip convey a premium feeling, the kind of gadget lust that has eluded Nintendo for generations now. But playing in console mode has had some reliability issues. I didn't have any problems when I played in handheld mode with the Joy-Cons docked directly to the tablet, but when disconnected and used with the included grip or individually, the left Joy-Con temporarily desyncs relatively often. Link died more than a few senseless deaths because I couldn't control him for a few seconds at a time, and I saw it happen several times when playing 1-2 Switch. Lots of the minigames require you to cover most of the Joy-Con with your hand, which interferes with its signal. I'm also concerned about what's under the hood. Nintendo hasn't disclosed the exact specifications of the NVIDIA Tegra chipset that powers the Switch, but it's fairly clear that the Switch is almost as far behind the power curve of its competitors as the original Wii was when it first came out. In console mode, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild seldom makes it all the way to 30 frames per second at 900p, and it even dips far south of that when lots of particles or physics objects are on screen at once. That it suffers these issues despite a lack of anti-aliasing does not bode well for the system's long-term capabilities. It's possible that the limitations of the cartridge-based media compound this issue. Even the massive, sprawling Breath of the Wild is crammed into a tiny 13.4 gig file, and on a big 1080p screen, it becomes fairly obvious that many of the textures have been heavily compressed. The art style hides it well in Zelda's case, but this may be a concern going forward with any potential multi-platform ports. However, these issues are soothed quite a bit by playing in handheld mode. The Switch's 6.2-inch 720p screen is a beauty. Colors are vibrant, and it's bright enough to be played in fairly direct sunlight. Its generous viewing angles are a huge boon too. Plus, since the Switch renders in 720p, frame rates were more consistent, and I noticed the texture issues less on the smaller screen. This has become my preferred way to play. Even then though, there are compromises. If, like me, you arrive at the conclusion that handheld mode is the best experience, the rub is that a game like Zelda can only run for a couple of hours at a time unless you're within a few feet of a power outlet. Even if the Switch's questionable internals don't dissuade you from using it like a gaming console, it suffers numerous other issues in that regard. The most glaring is that there's no way to lay the system flat while docked, so it doesn't fit well into an entertainment center. This is particularly irritating given that the game card slot, headphone jack, headphone volume controls, and power button are all along the top of the system. Sadly, the Switch doesn't play nicely with other equipment. If you wanted to opt for some premium wireless headphones, you can't because there's no optical port. Nor is there an Ethernet port, so you're stuck with 802.11 AC Wi-Fi unless you buy the USB adapter. Quite possibly the largest of these issues is the woeful lack of onboard storage. With only 32 gigs on board, 7 of which are used by the operating system, there's no way you'll be able to go all digital with your library unless you buy a hefty SD card. As for the UI, it's clean and snappy, but not in any way a standout. Unfortunately, as of right now, there isn't any additional functionality in terms of video streaming or other services. Granted, it can be easy to overlook this stuff when you're enjoying Zelda on your own personal screen in the car or in bed while someone else uses the TV, but all of these little omissions and issues make this Switch feel less than ideal no matter which way you use it. As a handheld, the Switch is a powerful piece of hardware with a gorgeous screen that's too large and power-hungry to be truly portable. As a console, it's underpowered, unreliable, and lacking basic features and conveniences that all of its competitors offer. It's nicely built and cleverly designed to be used in a variety of ways, but the bottom line is that the Switch doesn't do any one of the many things it can do without some sort of significant compromise. Our testing will continue for the next few days as we try out the online features and other functions enabled by the Day 1 patch, but if I had to score it now, I'd give it a 6.7. For more on the Nintendo Switch, check out our Legend of Zelda combat montage, as well as our videos about how Breath of the Wild has bucked our expectations and the 10 new things we found while messing around with it.